You know that feeling when the jet door shuts and the world outside instantly goes quiet? Now imagine that silence following you for 8,200 nautical miles, at a pace most long-range jets can't keep up with, while the runway options expand instead of shrinking. That's the Gulfstream G800. And here's the tease. The G800 has one comfort advantage that makes long-haul jet lag feel like it lost a step. I'll sprinkle clues as we go, and at the end, I'll tell you exactly what it is and why it matters more than a flashy interior ever could. Overview: what it is and why it's a big deal. The Gulfstream G800 is Gulfstream's next-generation ultra-long-range flagship for people who don't let geography negotiate their calendar. It earned FAA and EASA type certification with enhanced performance, meaning the jet didn't just arrive, it arrived stronger than promised. More range, on a higher maximum operating speed, and certified runway performance that opens more airports. In plain American English, the G800 is built for "we're going non-stop" days, and for land closer to the actual destination days, and for "we need speed without showing up fried" days. Key features: what you actually feel on board. Let's start with the stuff you notice in the first 10 minutes, not the marketing phrases. 1. A real multi-zone living space. The G800 can be configured with up to 4 living areas or 3 living areas plus a dedicated crew compartment. That sounds like a spec line until you do a 10 to 14-hour day. Zoning lets you separate. Work mode: calls, laptops, meetings. Lounge mode: meals, conversation, decompress. Sleep mode: lights down, temperature right, see brain off. That's the difference between stepping off the jet ready or stepping off the jet looking like your soul is still over the Atlantic. 2. Light that changes the vibe. Gulfstream's panoramic oval windows aren't just pretty. A brighter cabin feels less claustrophobic, and it helps your body stay in a healthier rhythm. Fatigue is physical, but it's also mental. Light helps you stay human. 3. Air and wellness that you don't appreciate until it's gone. Gulfstream highlights 100% fresh air plus a plasma ionization air purification system. On paper, it's nice. In real life, it's fewer headaches, less dryness, and less of that post-flight fog where your brain feels like it's buffering. 4. Quiet, on purpose. The G800 is designed around a whisper-quiet cabin philosophy. That matters for sleep, for private conversations, for serious work, and, honestly, for your mood. Noise is stress. Quiet is luxury. 5. Symmetry flight deck. Yes, it affects the passenger experience. The G800 uses Gulfstream's Symmetry flight deck with active control sidesticks and a modern cockpit layout. Even if you live in the back, you feel this in the last 20 minutes of a flight, when smoother, calmer, more predictable handling equals a more comfortable arrival. 6. The muscle under the suit. Power comes from 2 Rolls-Royce Pearl 700 engines, rated around 18,250 pounds of takeoff thrust each, are paired with Gulfstream's aerodynamic wing and winglets. Translation: the jet can stay fast, go far, and still play the efficiency game. Quick truth bomb. Quick truth: if you've ever flown luxury and still felt wrecked, it wasn't because the seat wasn't soft enough. It's cabin altitude, air, noise, and how the jet behaves on descent. Comfort isn't a vibe. Comfort is engineering. Key specifications: the stats people actually search. All right, clean spec run. No spreadsheet boredom. To performance, certified capability. Range: 8,200 nautical miles at long-range cruise, Mach 0.85. High-speed cruise range, 7,000 nautical miles at Mach 0.90. Fast-range mission, 8,000 nautical miles at Mach 0.87. Maximum operating speed, Mach 0.935. Certified balanced field length takeoff, 5,812 feet. Certified landing distance, 3,105 feet. Cabin plus space. Cabin height, 6 feet 3 inches. Cabin width, 8 feet 2 inches. Cabin length, 53 feet 6 inches. Cabin volume, 2,138 cubic feet. Internal baggage, 195 cubic feet. Max passengers, up to 19, layout dependent. Those cabin numbers are why the G800 feels like a real flying residence. You can stand comfortably, move around without the sideways shuffle, and actually use the space instead of just sitting in it. Why the G800 hits different. Speed plus range together. A lot of jets can go far, if you're willing to slow down. Oh, the G800's personality is basically, why would we? That's why Gulfstream talks about multiple ranges at different Mach speeds. It's not just a brag, it's mission flexibility. When you can stay fast on long legs, you're buying more than comfort. You're buying schedule protection. What high-speed long range gives you in real life? Fewer fuel stops, less time, less hassle. Fewer domino effects when the day runs late. Better crew duty planning. More, we can still make this work options. It's not glamorous, but it's the kind of advantage that makes people quietly obsessed with Gulfstream. Quick reset, plus a tiny joke. Here's the funny part. The G800 doesn't feel like it's doing something extreme. It just does it. Quietly, smoothly, like it's trying not to embarrass your airline app. Meanwhile, my bank account would pass out just reading the invoice. The cabin story. What a long flight actually looks like. Let me paint the vibe. You board. It's quiet. The lighting is calm. More luxury lounge than medical office at 40,000 feet. You settle in. Hour 1 is work. Then you eat. Then you shift into lounge mode, conversation, music, decompress. Then the cabin goes low and warm, and you actually sleep. That actually matters. And because the best long-range jet isn't the one that merely transports you. It's the one that lets your body recover while you're moving. Pricing plus. Real costs. The money reality check. Now, let's talk numbers. Pricing depends heavily on configuration, delivery slots, and how bespoke you go. But here's the real-world range. The G800 has been cited with list pricing in the low $70 million range. While equipped retail figures have been reported higher, mid-$70 million and beyond, once options and interior customization are included. And yes, if you build a full penthouse in the sky, it can climb. Now the part that separates rich from runs a flight department. Operating costs. One operating cost snapshot estimates total hourly cost, about $9,783 per flight hour. Total annual budget, about $3.77 million, split between variable and fixed costs. And those numbers can move based on where the aircraft is based, how many hours you fly, crew structure, maintenance programs, insurance, and hangar costs. Translation. Buying the jet is one check. Operating it is a lifestyle. Charter pricing? Because the G800 is newer to service, availability can be limited. But published broker guidance commonly places charter rates in the mid-teens per hour, roughly $14,000 to $18,000 plus per flight hour depending on routing, demand, and repositioning. Comparisons. Quick, honest, no fanboy energy. If you're cross-shopping, the G800 lives in the same rare air as the biggest long-range names, Bombardier's global family, and Gulfstream's own G700/G650ER universe. Here's the clean frame. The G700 leans into bigger cabin luxury and that private suite vibe. Sidesticks. The G800 leans into the high-speed, ultra-long-range chess move. Go farther. Stay fast. Keep comfort premium. It's not about one jet being perfect. It's about mission personality. If your biggest flex is controlling time and distance, the G800 makes a strong case. Misunderstood points. What people get wrong. Misunderstanding. Number 1. Range is one number. It's not. Range changes with speed, winds, payload, reserves, routing, and planning. And that's why you see different published numbers at Mach 0.85, 0.87, and 0.90. Luxury is the interior. The interior is what you post. The systems are what you feel. If cabin altitude, air, and noise aren't right, the nicest leather on earth won't save you. This is only for billionaires. Yes, plenty of owners are ultra-high net worth. But jets like this also exist for corporations and flight departments where travel is a productivity engine. Sometimes it's not about flexing. Sometimes it's about removing friction. Before we hit the big reveal, one underappreciated flex, Runway math. Certification included a 5,812-foot balanced field takeoff and a 3,105-foot landing number, meaning the airport list can widen. And that's not glamour. That's fewer car rides, less hub chaos, and more land closer to the meeting. Quick question. If you had the G800 for 1 week, what's your first non-stop, I can't believe we're doing this route? New York to Dubai, LA to Sydney, or something even crazier? Drop it in the comments. I want to see who's thinking like an owner and who's thinking like a charter client. All right, here's the comfort advantage I teased at the start. Gulfstream says the G800 delivers the industry's lowest cabin altitude, about 2,840 feet, while flying at 41,000 feet, plus 100% fresh air, plasma ionization purification, and a whisper-quiet cabin. And in plain English, your body thinks it's at a much lower mountain height than most jets. That's why people often step off feeling less dehydrated, less headachy, and more mentally sharp. The real flex isn't the tail number, the flex is arriving ready. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like. It tells YouTube you want more luxury aviation deep dives. Comment G800 if you'd fly this, or comment rival and tell me what you'd pick instead, and why. And I read the comments because your picks basically program my next episode. If you're new here, subscribe to Luxury Living Detective for weekly tours of private jets, super yachts, mansions, and the expensive stuff we're all just researching. Want the VIP version of this channel? Tap Join for member perks and bonus breakdowns. And if you want to support the channel in a big way, hit Super Thanks. Those highlighted comments help fund more research-heavy videos like this. Last question before you go. Would you rather own the jet or charter it and invest the difference? Be honest.